more comfortable as we get into the message. Let's go to Romans 12:2. I like to open with this just to get our minds set on the same thing. Romans 12:2, New King James Version. And we're going to read it together. Ready? Let's go. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Right now, I want you to set your minds on what I'm teaching. Practice while I'm teaching to keep refocusing. You're going to think about Sunday dinner. You're going to think about your week. You're going to think about other things. Those of you online, it's even more difficult because you're somewhere that is not in here. So you guys are going to have to focus as well. It's going to be very easy. You got your breakfast in front of you. You know what I'm saying? I know when I used to do it, when I was out of town, I would have my tablet. I'm playing my game while listening to the word because, I could do both. But it's better to focus. Hey, this way you don't think I'm judging you. I'm not. I understand. So, but I want you guys to focus on what is being taught today. It is very important. I believe that once we get this concept, it is going to be the key to unlocking a lot of things that God has for us that we thought we had to wait on, or that we thought that He wasn't giving us yet. Amen. And you're going to see, remember, I gave you that big picture of instantaneous faith and getting stuff right away and transporting to other locations. It doesn't work if your mind doesn't believe that it can happen. And if your mind is plagued with a whole bunch of different things, you can't focus on transporting to another location with your luggage. Y'all looking at me, but if we shoot for the stars and we hit the clouds, we're doing big things. So I want us to shoot for things that are impossible. So that maybe you don't get the transporting, but maybe your car moved a lot faster than you thought it did in traffic that was just jam-packed, and somehow you still made it to your destination on time. You don't know how you did, but you did. You understand what I'm saying? So, and as we get there, then we'll start getting to other places, okay? So, and this is a practical word for all ages. I believe that parents, as you get this word, take this word and help your children, because the earlier that they get this, the better their lives would be, because, see, they believe so much more. Because they haven't been, what's the word? Corrupted with bad experiences yet. Some of them haven't. You understand what I'm saying? And so we want to train their minds to start focusing. This will help with all that ADHD, and you throwing medication in their mouth and they become zombies. I remember I used to have students, oh my gosh, it hurt me. I used to tell the parents, hey, if they got my class in the morning, don't give it to them, and let them take it after lunch. Because I would rather them be bouncing off the walls and you could tell the difference. It was like you just sucked the life out of them. That's not God's will. And I believe that if God gave us this mind, that this mind and our bodies are able to focus no matter what our circumstances are. And so if we start training our children early to focus early, I think that they would be better off as well, okay? And so this is a skill that everybody needs. It helps you with studying. It helps you in your classes. Those of you that are in classes, it helps you at work, okay? You could get, imagine if you were the most focused and productive employee at your job. You think you wouldn't get recognized? Versus someone that's always getting up and they gotta move. And I get it. I was that person. I have a hard time sitting in an office for an extended period of time. I got to get up and go. Ronald says it's the creatives. The creatives, we always got to be moving and stuff like that. He'll tell you, our meetings, we're everywhere. It doesn't matter. We're Cooper's Hawk. We weren't drinking. See, y'all judging. I saw it. As soon as you heard Cooper's, you was like, uh-huh, that devil's juice. No. I don't drink. I tried, it doesn't work. I don't like it. So I don't drink. But what I'm saying is, we were there because it was a different location. I always ask them where we're meeting. Sometimes we're in the foyer, sometimes we're in the conference room, sometimes we're in the office. It really doesn't matter. It helps us because, we're in a change of environment, but that doesn't always work for some jobs is what I'm saying. And so sometimes you just have to be able to focus, all right? Believe it or not, that's not my message, but it's okay, all right? We're about to get into it right now. I want us to go to 1 Peter 5:8, the Message version. 1 Peter 5:8, the Message version. That's 5:8, the Message version. I'm not judging y'all. I'm looking at me because that means I didn't give you the right version. Let me see. 1 Peter 5:8. Yeah, I didn't. Well, maybe I did. Let me see. I apologize, you guys. I'm usually a little bit more prepared. I am, but not like I'm supposed to be, it looks like. Yeah, that's not the one. I'm going to look at New Living. Let's go to New Living Translation and see what that one looks like for me, please. Yep, that's the one. New Living Translation for me, please. I apologize. Thank you. Stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. That's where I'm starting. I'm choosing violence to start. Okay? I'm choosing violence to start. Okay? So stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy. Who is what? All right. So watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion. We think about lions. We think about Brookfield Zoo. We see the lions that are lazy. They barely out in the summertime. You go to see the lions. They not even out because it's too hot. So we thinking about zoo lions. I need us to think about lions in the wild. Run the video.
A buffalo is the ultimate prey. It weighs up to 1,500 pounds and has horns that are 3 feet wide from tip to tip. And it's not afraid to use them. Buffalo wound more lions than any other prey species. So, hunting this beast requires a game plan. The pride will follow an age-old strategy. Lions attack with the precision of a pro football team, with each lion playing the same position time and time again in hunts. The lions on the sides will advance up the flanks. 1 or 2 lions will run interference while the lions in the center will go for the takedown. Today's attack begins with the flanks trying to maneuver close. They will try to separate a lone buffalo from its herd. There is no margin for error. The rest of the pride keeps the loner busy, working together to tire him out. Before he knows it, he is surrounded. The center moves in for the kill, but bringing him down requires the extra 100-pound bulk of one of the big males.
Y'all like, come on, it's too early in the morning for all this. It's almost the afternoon, relax. That video alone is a whole message. First of all, let me make it plain and clear. One thing about the lion is it can't handle anything alone. The devil ain't a boss that can work by himself. He always got to have his crew with him. You know, when you used to be at school and somebody be talking all that mess and you be like, okay, cool, we can fight. And then they be like, cool, I'm going to bring my boys. Wait, slow down. Why you got to bring your boys? You was the one talking mess. Why you need help? You remember back in the day, what you need help for? If you need help, then you ain't talking about nothing. So the devil need help, so he ain't what? Y'all scared to talk hood? Okay. The devil needs help. He's not really forceful enough. Is that better? I like the hood version better. If the devil need help, what? He ain't talking about nothing. I'm not elevating the devil in this video. I'm putting him in perspective. It was so much in there. He was like, hey, they have to get him alone. So when 2 or 3 are gathered, they can't handle a group. They got to get you by yourself. The demons and the minions are the ones that's laying, looking, scoping out everything. The devil comes for the glory. Ooh, that's it right there. And let me pause. The demons are the ones that get the prey distracted. Ooh. The demons get the prey distracted, and once they're distracted and tired, then the devil comes to get you at your weak point, which means the devil can't do nothing to you when you're at your high, strong point. Ooh. I didn't know this is where this was going, but God, I see where you at. Look, the demons, no longer lies, the demons are prowling, sneaking. They got to sneak. They can't even do a frontal attack. Because if they do a frontal attack, they know they're going to get hurt. They said that the buffaloes were the ones that caused the most damage to the lions. So in order for them to take this buffalo down, first of all, they got to isolate them. Ooh, that's for some of y'all that get in your thoughts, be sitting in them dark rooms, listening to your R&B and neo-soul. People don't love me. You writing in your journal, God, where are my people at? I ain't got nobody, don't nobody. The devil loves people like that. That's why it's important for you to get out the room. You teenagers, you young folks, when your parents say get in here with us, there's a reason. It's not because they trying to be in your business. They know that the devil is trying to snipe you alone. You ain't never heard about a teenager committing suicide with friends surrounding them. Whew. Teenagers, this is for you, and I don't know who I'm talking to. You got to get out the room. It's not to say that you can't have time to yourself. Please do. But when you see that your thoughts are going sideways, get out the room. Rescue yourself. I remember a time I was grown, maybe about 20-something. I took my teens to a church, and they asked me to pray for their teens. I didn't know I was doing that. I thought we were coming to be supporters. And so they asked me to pray, and I laid hands on a girl, and she got delivered and everything. I got home, and I was cool, but then stuff started getting dark. I started feeling some type of way. The next day, because that was in the evening, the next day, I didn't want to turn no lights on. I was feeling isolation, depression. I didn't know where it came from. I thank God that something in me said, hey, call your mom. And I didn't call her often, but I called her and I told her. And she said, come to the house. And this is when they lived like a few minutes away from me. She said, come to the house now. I remember. Do you remember that? She said, come to the house. I came to the house. And immediately stuff started falling off of me. Whatever was on that girl had jumped on me. For all of y'all that's ready to lay hands on everybody, you ready to set the captives free. I am in agreement, but please believe that even then there's a sneak attack. I wasn't prepared to lay hands. I wasn't spiritually ready and alert to lay hands. So when I laid hands and I wasn't prepared, that spirit jumped off. So this means that when you're going to lay hands, you better be ready. Yes, we're going in faith. Yes, we're going in authority, but do know that they not just going to sit there and let you cast them out with no consequences and repercussions. So you got to be prayed up against that too. It's not even in my notes. I just did the first 2 lines, but okay. So back to the video. So they got them, right? And they took them out. But notice it was a whole strategy, and they do it that's a word. They do it the same way every time. They not original. In any way, shape, or form, they're not original. They're not God. We keep exalting these demons. We keep exalting the devil to being more powerful than he really is. He ain't talking about nothing. So if you got attacked in a way and you made it through because God helped you make it through, if you see signs of that same attack, be clear it is. Don't brush it off. It's the same attack. Which means that if you see signs of it early, the reason why we make it through tests and trials is so that when the test comes through again, we are better prepared for the test. If you getting sucker punched with the same thing over and over, then you doing something wrong. Ladies, if you keep getting with the same toxic dude over and over, you doing something wrong. Fellas, if you still with the same crazy female, just a different body every time, you doing something wrong. Stop ignoring it. It's the same attack. I love it. You know, this is where I'm at, you know. And so I want to get into how the devil strategizes, and I don't need to spend a lot of time on this because I was going to, but I'm not, because he don't need a whole bunch of time because it ain't about him. Okay, so I'm going to skip through some stuff. I'm going to keep going. Let's go. So I'm skipping John 10 and 10 and the stuff behind it. I'm skipping those, okay, y'all? Let's go to, we're looking at 1 Peter 5 and 8 in the New King James Version. Same scripture, different version. And I want to break some stuff down. 1 Peter 5 and 8, New King James Version. Good, thank you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Be sober, be vigilant. These are words, when we think sober, we think of, I'm not drunk, right? Why you laugh? Because I'll talk about you. Sorry. Put the definitions up for me real quick. Do y'all have them? Yes, no? Sober, vigilant? Yeah, we in there? Okay, cool. All right. Sober. There we go. Ooh, that's pretty. I like it better than it is on my cheat screen. Sober. Showing no excessive or extreme qualities of fancy, emotion, or prejudice. Fancy, because that's a word. We think, oh, you fancy. No, fancy, different way. An image or representation of something formed in the mind. So showing no excessive or extreme qualities of putting images or representations of something that's formed in your mind the emotions, or prejudice. Prejudice is an adverse opinion or leaning formed without just grounds or before sufficient knowledge. In other words, you formed an opinion without no evidence, no proof. That's why when we say you being prejudiced, like we say different races are being prejudiced towards each other, you don't have no basis for it. Like when I was growing up and I was living in Garrett, people told me white folks all look the same. No, seriously, they was like, all white people look the same. But that didn't work for me because I went to church with white folks and they didn't all look the same. That prejudice couldn't take root in me because that wasn't true. But if you've never interacted with a white person, then you can form that, you can form the judgment. So what God is saying here is that we need to make sure that we're not too emotional, because excessive means too much of, right? Extreme means you're going way too far, right? So it's saying do not be extreme when you're forming things in your mind. Don't be excessive in your emotions. Don't be emotional. Not to say you can't have emotions, but don't, you know somebody that goes 0 to 100 real quick? Yo, me and Shaquita was in a restaurant yesterday, and we just minding our business, eating our food, and we hear, who you pointing that phone at? Who you taking pictures of? Restaurant, we all turn like, and the lady was like, ain't nobody pointing their phone at you, ain't nobody taking a, because you need to turn that phone away from me. Get that, and we was like, first off, who are you? Why does anybody want a picture? Why is you being so loud? Like, she was right next to her, am I right? She was right next to it. It wasn't even necessary. Excessive. You doing way too much. If you're an excessively emotional person, you need to take a step back and ask yourself why. If you cry at the drop of a dime, you need to ask God why. If you get angry extremely fast, you need to ask God why. There is something in you, there's a demonic presence in you that's lying dormant. And it only pops out in certain situations because the devil is a strategist. So he gets you comfortable with popping out, in certain situations, causes the most damage. So he gets you accustomed to being this pop-off person, and then you pop off at the wrong time, and it does damage to you because John 10:10 says that the thief comes only to what? Steal, kill, and destroy, which means that he's doing whatever it takes not only to get rid of you, but to destroy your very essence. So when you pop off at the wrong time and you just get in a fight, but you win, then he didn't fulfill his mission. He's not done. That wasn't the mission. That was just a situation to see if you would do what he said do. I remember I walked into, I'm snitching on my stuff. Hey, Mama, I love you. So I was where I wasn't supposed to be, and I was out with some friends in Chicago. I wasn't supposed to be in Chicago that day, but I went. And I was out there with my girls, and we was going to the bathroom and, getting ourselves cute before we did what we was going to do. And we all came out, but one of us didn't come out right away. When she comes out, her hair all over her head, face all scratched up, beat up. And we was like, girl, what happened to you? Because I wasn't this person then, but what blank happened to you? So she said, she was like, these bees jumped me in the bathroom. What? The bathroom we was in? Huh. Well, I was the turn-up girl. I was that one. I was down for a fight. So I was like, where they at? Where they at? Let me be clear about something to me back then. I wasn't savvy in fighting, but I did know that I could. So I would always flex it, but never really use it. But I would flex it often. Okay. You don't want none, woo, woo. And I'm sure I was capable, but I never got to that point. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing a lot of talking in this situation because wasn't nobody else rah-rah enough for me in the crew, and that kind of bothered me. Like, y'all not, it's not okay that she got jumped. Where they at? She was like, they went that way. So I'm all, you told Harpo to beat me stomping to see where they at. They then went upstairs to an isolated area, and it's a gang of them. They about 5-6 deep in Chicago. I'm from Gary. And I look back, and it's me. And we're in a public place, you know, it's a tourist location, you know what I'm saying? So I'm yelling, rah, 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 y'all ain't about to do nothing. Y'all come on and see me, come see me. And the people, the bystanders was like, oh my gosh, you know, and the police come through. In that moment, I got sober. In that moment, I was like, wait, it's not me, it's them. Sir, I got all types of Suburban on the bed. I don't know what happened, sir. They just, oh my gosh. And so the bystanders had my back because they actually knew what happened, but I know that was God because I was supposed to be arrested that night. And if I wasn't arrested, I was supposed to die that night. One of the two. If I went up to fight, I was going to die. And if I got arrested, it was still all bad. It was all bad. I was getting set up. I said all that to say this. There had been times in the past at church when I was a teenager, I love you, Mom, where I was about to fight. It was a thing where my emotions would pop off. And the thing is, I knew it was an issue very young because I got elementary school, 3rd grade. I hit a girl because she took my swing. She was low-key trying to bully me, but with a smile. She was like, give me that swing, hee hee hee. All I remember, and this is no lie, all I remember is looking up, and she had blood all over her jacket, her shirt, face was gushing in blood. There was nobody else around, so clearly she didn't hit herself. No, because I need y'all to understand, I recognized early, but that this fighting thing wasn't okay for me. Because not only did I fight, but I blacked out when I fought, where there was no memory. It was a demonic thing. And it happened throughout my life as a teenager. Girls would push me in church, and I turn around, and I got grown people holding me back. Ain't nobody holding them back, and I'm confused as to why. But it had to be something on my face that showed them that she's about to do a lot of damage. It was a demonic thing. He was trying to get me comfortable with fighting, comfortable with blacking out, so that at the right time, he could take me out. And I had to recognize it. Some of y'all are not recognizing. Y'all been getting set up your whole life. This is just how I am. I always been this way. Why? What is he setting you up for? Some of y'all are getting a word today. Some of you online are getting a word today that you've been getting set up, and I need you to take a step back and see what the setup is and cast it out. Because I feel the Holy Spirit saying that if you don't stop now, it could be the death of you. The devil don't win, and he ain't nobody. He ain't talking about nothing, but he ain't nobody to play with either. Don't take him for granted. Don't throw him to the side like you got it without God on your side. Don't act like, oh, I got this. That's for some of y'all that's, y'all having sex just with whoever and ain't nothing happened. I ain't never got pregnant. I ain't never got nobody pregnant. I ain't never had an STD. I ain't never gave nobody no STD. I've been cool. Setting you up. You would be surprised at how many teens I've talked to, and I said, hey, you need to stop doing that because it's the death of you, and they didn't listen and they died. Some years later, some months later, some weeks later. So this is a warning for somebody. Stop. Ask God to help you stop. Change your thoughts, because your thoughts is telling you what to do. You understand? Your thoughts are telling you your mind is telling you to do this. Your mind is making you entertain how much you hate somebody. I don't know why I'm staying here, but it's supposed to be here. It's probably about where this message is going to end, which means to be continued next week. But this is for somebody. You entertaining thoughts in your mind about how somebody did you wrong or they looked at you crazy. And the thoughts is like, they looked at you crazy because so-and-so had said something that you said to them, and they think they about to fight you, and you gonna lose, and you need to let them know that you ain't about to lose. Your mama ain't never liked you. That's why she always picking on you. I don't know who that's for. She don't love you. You should move out. What's the point? He's trying to get you out there isolated so that he can surround you with demons. That's why the mind is important. I feel like the mind is more vital than your physical brain, your physical heart, because your mind can cause those to fail. You can kill yourself with your mind. If you keep thinking death thoughts, your body is going to react to those death thoughts. So you need to check your thoughts. Stay vigilant, always keeping careful watch of possible danger or difficulties. You got to keep... Hold on one second. I just want to see where I'm going. Really? That's it, huh? Okay, cool. You got to keep watch over what's happening. You got to be more alert. We have to be more alert. Okay, Holy Spirit, I hear you. So what I'm going to end with is this. We've been a little quiet recently. We've been enjoying the quiet. I've been enjoying the quiet because all hell has been breaking loose since January. These past few weeks have been a little quiet. And I've been resting in the quiet like, whoo, thank you, God. I had prayed. I was like, God, can I just get a breath? I just need to breathe. That was I wrote it. God, can I just get a moment to breathe? I feel like I can't breathe. And so we get this quiet time, and I'm just chilling in it. And then God said, hey, just because it's quiet doesn't mean that you stop being vigilant. Quiet doesn't mean stop doing stuff. Quiet doesn't mean that nothing's happening. On both ends. Quiet doesn't mean that the devil ain't doing nothing. He's just not doing nothing that you recognize. Quiet doesn't mean that God isn't doing anything. He's just doing something that you don't know about. It's quiet. And so we have to be vigilant. And he gave me the scripture before I came out. So I'm going to end here. Wow, I did not touch my notes. It's all good. This was good. I'm not mad about it, but this, really? I did not touch them. Okay, Matthew 12:43 through 45. This is one of them last minute scriptures I gave y'all. New King James Version. Matthew 12:43 through 45. I think this is the one. New King James Version. And we're gonna end here. Okay. That's deep. Somebody needs this. Yep, that's it right there. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finds none. Next verse. And he will return, then he says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it empty, swept, and put in order. Next one. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. So shall it also be with this wicked generation. In closing, some of y'all have gotten proud in the fact that you ain't been dealing with nothing. You've been clean. You ain't been cussing. You ain't been drinking. You ain't been hoeing. Y'all laughing. Some of them hoes was laughing. Them ex-hoes, they was laughing. They was like, that used to be me. You right. I don't do that no more. Praise the Lord. I'm happy for you. I ain't angry no more. I ain't fighting no more. I kicked that man out my house. My bills is almost paid up. My job is going really well. I got a car that actually starts. Look, I know where we at, and it's okay. I'm saying you in a good place. There's nothing wrong with being in a good place. But if you're in a good place and spiritually you're empty, so God brought you through all that mess. I hear you, God. Here it is. God brought you through all that mess. You done got out. You have been blessed. You are seeing the promises of God appearing in your life. You are doing great. And you forgot who brought you there. During that time of trouble, during that storm, you was in your word 3, 4, 5 in the morning. You was at every service. You was at every conference. You carried the Bible with you wherever you went. You was on your face all the time. Lord, help me. Lord, get me out. Lord, I believe you. You was doing all that. And then when he finally brought you out, you stopped doing that. You've been resting in the quiet. And now you spiritually empty. You may or may not go to church. Work calling you off. You gotta go work. Your child got some function that's going on during church time. It's okay. I can miss a service. You forgetting what brought you there. And then you be wondering why you got sucker punched and you didn't know where it came from. And now your life feels like it's worse than it was before the storm the first time. It's because you're empty. You took God for granted. You said, thanks God for getting me to this point, but I got it from here. And you left from there. And Satan's been maneuvering in your quiet, putting stuff into place in your quiet, watching your daily routine in your quiet. Got demons sitting there scouting your crib, waiting for the right opportunity. So that when you get caught slipping, he just come in, not just by himself because he can't work by himself. But he got to bring his 7 homies with him. So the one thing you were dealing with, and God forbid that you was dealing with 3, 4 different things and you got out of all 4 of those. So imagine this, you've been dealing with 3, 4 different things. And God brought you out of that. And you got empty. And each one of them brought 7 with them. Ooh. Math, anyone? 7 times 4? 28. You were struggling on your face, contemplating life with them 4. What you gonna do with 28? So in closing, I'm telling you in this quiet, this is a warning from God. I hear it. He's been saying this to me for the past couple weeks. Don't get quiet. Don't get complacent in this quiet time. EOC, don't get complacent in this quiet time. In this time, we need to be praying even more. In this time, we need to be seeking God even more. In this time, we need to be in our word even more. Because he's plotting. He's scheming. Waiting. And I'm telling you, really? You sure? Okay. And God is saying today that some of you are going to get picked off because you didn't hear this. Some people that we didn't even think will get picked off because they didn't pay attention to the word or that they're not even here. And so even though we're in prayer for ourselves, our families, our friends, and those close around us, we need to be in prayer for each other. And we need to be in prayer for those who are not here. And I'm not online. I'm not talking about not physically here. I'm talking about not here. We need to be in prayer because God is telling me, he's pressing me, saying that the devil is seeking to pick some people off. This ain't no threat, nothing like that. I don't have no ill will towards anybody. I promise you I don't. I don't have time to be worried and checking for what other people are doing. I promise you that. I don't care. But you better believe I am praying for people that are not here. I've been doing that from the start of everything. I've been praying for these people. That's what it means when it says to forgive your enemies. Stop seeing it as an attack on you. That's right. It's a spiritual attack. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with me. And pray for those people because they're getting used. And they don't think they're getting used, which is the worst place to be because you don't even know you being moved. So the devil's just moving them. And I'm not saying everybody that's not here, that's what's happening. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not condemning anybody. I'm not judging anybody. But what I'm saying is we have to stay in prayer. So when we have this prayer service, this ain't no, oh, here we go. We just going to come together and pray. No, I feel like this prayer service that we're having needs to be one that's the most people we've ever had. Because remember, we talked about when we're together. When we're together, they can't do nothing. We need to come together. Just this amount of people, great, more. We need to come together to pray. Because while we're talking about we about to restore Gary and we about to do big things in Gary and EOC is about to be on the verge of greatness, agreed. But do you really think that the devil is just going to let us walk into that? So we need to be in prayer so that we can. We need to be in prayer so that the stuff that the devil is placing in the way so that we can't do what we're supposed to do gets cleared before we get there. We need to be like those Israelites where God was like, hey, you ain't even going to have to fight this war. I'm going to kill all of them before you even get there. And when they got there, they was all slaughtered and the rest of them had run. We got to be like that right now. We have to take it seriously. Well, Pastor Joy, I ain't really comfortable with praying and stuff like that. Hey, praying is talking to God. So if you're not comfortable with that, you and God don't talk. You're really in trouble. You gotta get here. I understand it's a weeknight. I understand we working. I understand that kids got school in the morning. I understand it's during dinner time or they got homework to do. Bring them kids with their homework. I remember back in the day, I would be in the back of the sanctuary with my homework, but I would be in the sanctuary. We need to start thinking that way. We need to start making God the priority again. And see, you can take my word for it because I was the one that didn't like praying. I was the one that didn't really want to pray in the Spirit. So I get it. But I'm telling you, once I figured out, and I promise you, Dr. J used to try to get me to do this for years. And it took me figuring it out for myself to get it. But once I figured out how effective prayer is and how quick it works, and how praying in the Spirit when I don't know what to pray for does things for me and does things for others, how important it is. Can you imagine a room full of us doing that and what we could do? How much shifting we could do, how much mountain moving we could do, how many strongholds we could pull down. Some of y'all just need to come together and pray so that you can get some extra backup on some stuff that you've been praying for by yourself. You too busy worried about somebody, knowing your business and whatever. No, you need help. You need backup, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So, okay, I don't know where that came from. So that's it. We understand what our assignment is, yes? We understand that we need to pray. We need to stay vigilant. And those of y'all that are